Chapter 16, Saying Goodbye. Hello everyone and welcome back to the story. I regret to inform you all that this is the final chapter of the story, but I already kind of spoiled it in the last chapter. This is a brand new chapter and the new ending is different from what it was before. I would once again like to thank all of you for the views, and I certainly hope you enjoyed the redux. Without the wait, sit back and enjoy. Everything seemed to have calmed down after Broly's rampage, and every pony was able to breathe easily. Well, not every pony could do that. A good amount of ponies had died during the attack, and their families and friends were still grieving. Although they were still upset, every pony had to pitch in and help rebuild the damage done by the murderous Saiyan. It was slow work, but they were getting it done. The hardest part came in rebuilding Manhattan, because the entire city had been demolished, so the ponies had to start entirely from scratch. Gohan was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and it didn't really get to him that he had to stay for 2 weeks. His friends didn't really have much time to visit him since they were helping rebuild, and of course he didn't really mind. The only one that visited him was Fluttershy, which was understandable. She had no home left and was still very upset. She needed to stay with him in order to keep her mind off of her pain. The young Saiyan didn't mind her company, and he did everything he could to cheer her up. When 2 weeks finally passed, Gohan was now able to help out as well. He thought they would be wrong of him not to help out, and seeing as he caught on to them, he was willing to help. With the young Saiyan helping out, the puzzle was sped up greatly. Gohan would stay up late and wake up early to maximize the amount of time he spent rebuilding. After several weeks, he was starting to feel the effects of lack of sleep, and his friends had to convince him to not work so hard. The half-Saiyan insisted on doing all he could and wasn't going to stop until all the construction was done. His mindset had definitely taken its toll on him, but he wasn't going to give up so easily. He knew that it would take longer without his help, and so he pushed through the pain, so to speak. About 2 more months had passed since then, and they finally finished rebuilding everything. All the shops and homes were exactly how they were before the attack, and Manhattan had been restored to its former glory. And after the building was done, ready once again to make Gohan a new outfit. It didn't take as long as last time. Ponyville was as good as new, and Fluttershy had a new cottage built for her, and it looked exactly like the old one, although her animals couldn't come back. Still, she was still very happy. It brought happiness to the point of Ponyville that Fluttershy was happy once again. For almost the entire time rebuilding, she was still upset, but now she was back to her old self. She and Gohan were sitting in her kitchen. She had just prepared some breakfast for the two of them to eat. The chai pan was almost done, but the young Saiyan didn't even touch his food at all, which worried her. Normally he would have already finished, and most likely be asked for seconds, but this time his plate was full. Is something wrong, Gohan? She knew something was wrong, she just didn't know what. He let out a sigh. I was just thinking about my mom and how she's doing, and also about Piccolo and Krillin. It's been so long since I've seen them. The young Pegasus had nearly forgotten that he was from another world. He had been here so long, it just seemed like he had lived here his whole life. You miss them? She received a slow nod, which made her start to tear up. She didn't like where Dick was going. Fluttershy, I want to go home, he told her with a hint of sadness in his voice. Her heart felt like it broke into millions of pieces. She wasn't prepared to have him leave. On the one hand, she knew that he would finish out to return. On the other hand, she really wanted him to stay. She lost everything and was alone, but no matter what, she still had him. He was there for her during the rough times, and also to look after her. And now he was going to leave. More tears slowly from her eyes. Please don't go, she pleaded, hoping that he would change his mind. I'm sorry, Fluttershy. I think it's time for me to leave. My mom needs me, and so does Earth. What if someone needs to inverse Earth and Vegeta and Piglet can't stop them? That was a good point, but the Shaman didn't want him to leave. I know, but I'll miss you. She flew over and gave him a huge hug. You could tell this wasn't easy for her. In fact, it was probably slightly harder. So he figured he and his friends should have one last get-together before his departure. How about we throw one last party before I leave? The shopman looked up and smiled brightly. The two of them gathered their friends in the library, and once they were all gathered inside, Gohan broke the news to them. They were all sad about the news. They didn't really want him to leave either. He had become such a close friend, and it felt like only yesterday he arrived through the portal. And as much as he hated seeing them all so distraught, he knew his decision was right. He only hoped that they would come to understand. But what about my training? And cause you know shadow bolts? Rainbow questioned while trying not to cry in front of her friends. He smiled at her. You already know the basics. All you need to do is practice. As for the shadow bolts, I think you do fine on your own. His smile never faded. The time Pegasus weakly nodded. What about Equestria? We need you to protect us from danger, Twilight added. Part of her knew that she and her friends became a little too reliant on him, but it wasn't entirely their fault. There was no way anything could have been Bojack or Broly. And there's another part of her that figured there won't be any more space aliens showing up anytime soon. That may be true, but I also have to think about my own planet. I'm the strongest fighter back on Earth, and if someone attacked, they wouldn't stand a chance. So you're just going to leave? Reddy asked, trying not to just break down and cry. A small laugh escaped in his mouth. Not before having one last pinky party. The pinky pony let as the excitement inside of her burst. She would have had to pull out all the stops for this one. It would be the biggest and best Santa party in the history of Santa parties. Yay, one last pinky party. It's gonna be the biggest one ever. She shouted for all of the equestria to hear. And then she ran the room in order to start preparing for the party. I guess she couldn't hold it together. Gohan chucked and they all shared a laugh. Well, she makes all the preparations. Why don't the rest of us do something fun? The honest man suggested. Sure, he answered. The son of them had gone to Sweet Apple Acres. The reason for doing so was that the half-saint wanted to say goodbye to the Kiermark Crusaders. He was going to miss those little fillies. They reminded so much of him when he was younger, very adventurous and full of spirit. He also was feeling hungry, so after I offered to make some food for all of them to share. So you're really leaving? Elbow Blue Max adding. Yeah, I have to return to my home, he told them. We'll miss you. Sweetback exclaimed. She gave his leg a hug. Skulu, who wasn't much for emotional displays, couldn't help but also shed a tear. She had really liked Gohan. He was the closest pony she had ever met. Besides Rainbow Dash, of course, but she wasn't the one leaving. You'll come back and visit, right? The Saint smiled. Of course. He knows they were still sad. Hey, don't worry. I won't be leaving for a couple of hours, so we still have some time together. A small smile came out of their faces. I guess we should just make the most of it, the red-maned filly stated. Just then Gohan smelled something delicious. Smells like the food is ready. Let's get something to eat, and then all of us can do something about before the party. He smiled as he walked over to one of the tables and sat down. A few moments later, his friends came outside carrying several trays of food. Wow, you guys really went all out. Well, since you're leaving, we figured we should make a big meal, Applejack told him as she and her friends placed the trays on the table. Thank you, he says as he started digging in. Think nothing of it, darling. We wouldn't want you to return home on an empty stomach. He would have responded, but his mouth was already stuffed with food, so he merely nodded at her and continued eating. After 7 minutes, he had eaten quite a lot of food. He would have felt bad for taking most of it, but his friends assured him that they were fine with the amount they got. So he kept on shoveling the apple-themed pastries into his mouth, savoring every last bit of it. Rainbow sighed as she watched her friend eat. Things aren't going to be the same with her right here once Gohan leaves, she mused aloud. Yeah, I know what you mean, Spike added. Although he didn't spend nearly as much time with Gohan as he wanted, he was still going to miss him. Come on, we shouldn't be sad his last day, the pro Alcon told downtrodden friends. You're right, Ty, but we just can't help it. The young Saiyan finished his last bite and then turned towards his friends. Well, we still have some time before the party starts, so why don't we do something fun? He suggested, receiving several nods and yeses from his friends. Peekaboo had just put the finishing touches on the party. After doing so, she wiped some sweat from her brow. It took a bit of work to set out the party, but she loved every moment of it. Now she was taking a second to admire her hard work. It truly was the biggest party she had ever set up. She looked around, so every pony in Ponyville was already here, and now she just had to wait for the guests of honor and her other friends. Just then she cut sight of her friends. They're coming! She shouted. Approaching from Sweet Apple Acres was Gohan, his friends, and the rest of the Apple family. Upon seeing the set, they all gasped. Surprise! Every pony yelled as the group entered the party. Gohan could tell his friend had gone all out. He had never seen such a big event before. He was also surprised by the amount of ponies who showed up. Even Princess Celestia, Luna, Cadence, and Shining Armor were there. Wow, this party looks great. Pinkie bounced up to him. Of course, silly. This is your favorite party after all. She smiled. He returned a smile as Shining Armor and Cadence walked up to him. Every pony tells you can transform to a Super Saiyan, known as a Super Saiyan. I was wondering if you could show me. Princess Cadence just giggled. Oh, Shining Armor, you and your obsession over combat. She probably hit him and he just started laughing. The young Saiyan nodded back for a moment before nodding. He saw no harm in transforming. Alright, I guess I can show you. He figured that if he was going to transform, he might as well make a little show out of it. He flew up into the sky stage and been set up for Finn Scratch, the DJ. He stood there and waited for every point of further attention to him. Once the crowd was watching, he was ready. His fists clenched as he began quietly yelling. He shouted out, increasing volume and unleashed more of his power. His shout made the entire ground rumble. A few moments later, Gohan armor roughened his body, and his hair then turned gold and his eyes became teal. Whoa! Shining Armor was speechless. The Super Saiyan just smirked upon seeing the shocked faces on the ponies' faces. Take it at the next level! Rainbow Dash yelled. Hearing that left the good majority of the crowd confused. Next level? What's she talking about? There's a level beyond a Super Saiyan? Showing him a question. Gohan paused for a moment. His first Super Saiyan transformation was pretty tame, especially since he trained himself to control. Super Saiyan 2, however, was different. It brought outside of him that he didn't want to show them. Then again, the only way he was going to control it was by being in that state. With this thought, he began thinking about something that made him angry, like Broly or Cell. He began growling and so thoughts entered his mind. His growl quickly escalated to a powerful shout. A high force wind was sent as his hair began to spike upwards. The entirety of Ponyfield began to shake as he began ascending to the next level. With one more powerful yell, his transformation finished, and several pillars of light sprung out the ground as a result. Now his hair was standing straight up and electricity sparked from his body. It took the ponies some time to regain the sight of the impressive light show. As soon as they did, they all stared with wide eyes. The golden light was already great, and now there was lightning coming from his body. Every pony stared at him for a few moments before erupting with cheers. The transformation is even more intense up close, Lynn whispered to her sister. Indeed, I can feel the raw power emanating from his body, and it's incredible, the princess' son whispered back. Princess Gans turned towards her husband and giggled. You got what you wanted? Uh-huh, he muttered, unable to actually form a sentence. The unicorn was too blown away by the awesome transformation to speak. An idea came into Rainbow Dash's head. Now was the perfect time to test something out. She flew up to him. Hey, Gohan, how about we race? I'm gonna see if you can beat me as a Super Saiyan 2. He smirked. Fine, we'll fly around Canalot. The first one back into the stage wins. She nodded as the two stood on the stage and prepared for the race. Todd was going to get the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go! The two took off and the race started, but as soon as it started, it was over. Just as quick as he left, the young Saiyan returned to the stage, having completed the race in less than a second. He grinned upon seeing every pony's shocked faces. Rainbow landed a few seconds later, completely blown away by how much he had lost by. It appears that I've won, he told the mayor. Rainbow chuckled lightly. I guess I still need to do some training. She probably would have been more upset by the loss had she not gone through something similar with him earlier. She learned from him that sometimes there was going to be some point faster than her, and that she shouldn't let that get her down. The pegs inside. It was going to be tough without him there to guide her. Piggyback on an idea of her own. It was something she wanted to do for the longest time. Gohan, I challenge you to do it to an eating contest. It was no fact that Pinkie Pie was the fastest eating Equestria, something she prided herself on. Yet her Saiyan friend could eat at a rate that was very close to her own, and she just had to know who was faster. The Heavy smirked. You're on. He began wondering if he should put power down on Super Saiyan 2, but he decided against it. Perhaps being surrounded by his friends would help him be less animalistic. Although he promised himself that if he felt like he was getting a little too out of control, he would immediately power down. He then snapped out his daughters followed the pony to a table. The party goers then brought all the food for the party to the table. As much as they didn't want to give up on the food, they also didn't want to miss the showdown. After a few moments, the table was piled high with all the food from the party, leaving no open spaces. They couldn't even see the contestants. They were blocked by the food pile. Both Gohan and Pinkie sat at the table and prepared to start. Princess Slice was going to be the judge. She stood in front of the table. All right, on your mark. Get set. Go. In a flash, the two began eating the food in front of them, each one shoving as much as they could into their mouths. In a matter of seconds, the amount of food was being torn down, and the opponents could see the challenges more clearly. The battle continued for a few more moments before all the food was consumed, but unfortunately Gohan had finished eating first. The winner is Gohan, Celeste declared, making every pony cheer. Pinkie held her hoof, and it was shaken by her opponent. I didn't think anybody could eat faster than me. You're a great eater, Gohan. The young Saiyan grinned. He was known for him to eat several tons of food. Maybe you should practice more next time, he told the pony, unaware of how it sounded leaving his mouth. Oh, don't worry, I'll train day and night, so you better watch out next time, she exclaimed. Just then, a son of Sun appeared at the party. We meet again, Gohan. Too bad it appears to be the last time, Discord noted. Flash ran towards her friend and gave him a big hug. What are you doing here? Her mood changed slightly and she was a little happier than before. I came here to say goodbye to Gohan before he leaves. This is my last chance after all. I also wanted to personally thank you for saving us from Broly. The Super Saiyan raised an eyebrow. You knew about Broly? Of course, how could I not? He narrowed his eyes. Then why didn't you do anything to help? He asked harshly. This could put Paul to his chest. Please, I'm too weak to fight someone like him. But if the need was urgent, I would have stepped in. Then a moment later, he was grabbed with the Saiyan. The mixer stopped suddenly as the pony stared at the scene. So you did nothing while Broly went on a rampage? Do you know how much damage he caused? How could you just sit back and let all that destruction happen? His aura flared upwards. Oh, I yelled out the corner of his eye. The Saiyan could see how front every point he was. He could see the fear in Discord's eyes also. This time he released the god and let his Super Saiyan strength fade. I'm sorry. That transformation brings out my anger and rage. I know if you could have helped, you would have. He apologized. Disco took a few deep breaths before facing young warrior. Oh, that's alright. Just remind me never to get on your bad side, he joked. Gohan chuckled sheepishly as he turned towards the ponies. He hung his head in shame at his actions. I'm sorry you all had to see that, and I promise it won't happen again. He knew that he needed to work even harder in training second Super Saiyan transformation, which he would work on in isolation. Although maybe he'd get Piccolo to help. Every point glanced around nervously as Fountain and Scratch went back to playing music. Soon after things went back to normal, and every point did their best to put that scene out of their minds. The party continued late into the night, and things were now starting to slow down. Flashlight did her best to enjoy the party, although it was hard considering that her friend was leaving later that day. Seeing him snap didn't help anything either. She didn't let that moment stop her from spending time with her friend though. Having Disco there also helped a little, but she was still pretty sad. The others also did their best to stay happy, and much like Flashlight, they were having a tough time doing so. They certainly weren't happy when the party was finally over. Now the only ones left were the Element Bearers, Spike, Celestia, Luna, Shining Armor, Cadence, Discord, and Gohan. Twilight began casting and a portal opened up on the ground. There you go, this portal should take you home, she told him with sadness in her voice. He nodded. I guess this is goodbye. I'll miss you all so much. Then went in for a group hug, and it lasted for quite a while. Goodbye, Sugar Cube. You take care of you here? Applejack said. She wiped tears from her eyes. I wish you luck with whatever you do, darling, the white unicorn added. It will be the same without you around. Remember Dash couldn't hold back tears and Marnita a moment to herself. I'm sorry we didn't spend more time with you, Gohan, but if you come back, feel free to visit, Cadence told him. Shining Armor nodded. The two of us need to return to Crystal Empire, he stated. It was an honor to meet you. The two then head towards the train station, with the unicorn's cries filling everyone's ears. The two Alicorn princesses sighed. The two of us must return to Canterlot. We will never forget you, Gohan. They both had tears in their eyes as they flew towards their home. Goodbye, Gohan, I miss you. Pinky was crying her eyes out and also needed a moment. Spike couldn't really say anything. He just couldn't find any words to say. So he simply waved to his friend. I hope your journey is a safe one, and if you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Disco stayed with a smile. Gohan nodded before being tightly hugged by the Chimera. I'm really going to miss you, and I hope you don't forget about us, she said, not wanting to let go of him. The young Saiyan had tears in his eyes too. He was going to miss a question all of his new friends. Don't worry, I'll come back and visit, I promise. He pushed her away and started walking forward. Well, this is goodbye. They all waved to him and he smiled back at them. A few seconds later, he entered the portal and closed behind him. Gohan was gone. Flashlight stared at the ground sadly as she felt something touch her shoulder. She looked up and saw Disco smile down at her, trying to reassure her that everything would be alright. It'll be okay, Flashlight. He said he'll be back, Twilight told her friend. Do you really think he will come back? Rarity wondered. Flashlight looked up at the stove with hope in her eyes. I know he will. Chi-Chi was inside the house doing some cleaning. She was doing her best to keep her mind off of her son. It had felt like forever she had seen him last. She missed her son every day and was wondering if he would ever come back. But that was a silly thought. Of course he would come back. She knew that he wouldn't leave his mom all alone. Chi-Chi couldn't wait for his return. She had some big news for him. I wonder when he'll be back. It's so lonely without him here, she said as she continued washing the dishes. Now Mom later, the front door opened and stepping inside was Gohan. Hi Mom, I'm home. I'm back. Chi-Chi dropped the plate she was currently holding. She could believe it. Her son was back. Tears filled her eyes as she ran over to hug her son. Gohan, you're finally back. I miss you so much. This house just isn't the same without my boy. I miss you too, he said. The two finished hugging. Chi-Chi nodded. Smiled. How about I whip out some food and you can tell me all about your trip? Gohan smiled and nodded. So after I exited Proto, I would up inside the library. Well, I hope that this find was better than the previous one. I feel like this is more heartwarming and sad. What better way to say goodbye than with a party? It also gave the pony some more time to spend with Gohan. Following the Redux is done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. And also I will be writing a sequel to the story at some point. I don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say Gohan will have grown since the story. Stay tuned for that and be sure to R&R Future Shock.